You can change some things about people, but overall, people are who they are, and how they grew up, defines who they are, and it's something that is with them. Girls like to think that they can, change someone for the better. Men get married when they're ready to settle down. It's not really the woman, it's like their timing.
I just got friend zoned and friend zoned. It's not that you like or dislike niceness. It's when you don't like this guy who's scared.
Can guys and girls be like friends? Can you just have that?
Even if you're like 6'5" and good looking with tattoos, you maybe would get one girl who's not even that attractive to come up and like start chatting you up.
I don't really like being told what to do. I definitely don't want or need someone who is like always trying to put me in my place or tell me what to think in that type of sense. People need to be taught now. I cannot stand if someone like buys something for me and then expects me to do something because they bought something for me. Buying a drink, I wouldn't be like that's a sugar daddy move. I think that that's chivalrous and nice and respectful.
Welcome to Unattainable. Glad to have you with us. I'm your host, Zach Evans, and first of all, thank you to all of our listeners. We've been getting a ton of engagement over the last couple of weeks, and we got to thank you guys for that. Today, we got a special guest on the show. This is Jensen. Jensen, why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself to the audience, your name, what you do, and your star sign.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jensen. I am in law school, and I also work at an employment firm, and I'm a Capricorn.
I know all about Capricorns.
Please tell me, because I don't know anything about Capricorn.
You guys are very fun, but bad for my mental health.
I mean, I know I have a lot of fun, so.
Yeah.
As a
I
Capricorn.
think toxic is the word that comes to mind.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What makes us so toxic?
I've only had a drink thrown in my face twice in my life. Both times were from your people. Yeah.
I could see that. I apologize on behalf of my people, but I feel like aggressive isn't the right word, but maybe, we don't put up with shit,
Passionate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say passionate.
It's a good word to
yeah.
Spin it a little bit.
Yeah, not toxic though.
By the way, I don't judge. I used to be very toxic back in my villain era.
Oh, you had a villain era?
Yeah.
When was it?
Probably a year and a half ago. But it lasted about 8 years up until that point. Yeah. So it was a long villain era.
Okay.
But I was a professional fuckboy. Not like these amateur Gen Z fuckboys you see nowadays.
Okay. So that I've kind of seen that in LA.
Mm-hmm.
The whole fuckboy.
Bird scooters and
oh God, yes. And the texting and communicating is so horrible here. I mean, it's not good anywhere. Like when I was in college, it wasn't any better. Mm-hmm. But here it's especially not good.
Mm-hmm. Have you found yourself in toxic relationships in the past?
Yes, definitely. But I'm no saint either. Mm-hmm. Like I definitely, we all have our bad moments. I think it was just, we weren't right for each other and we thought we could do it because, I don't know, he really liked me and I was like, sure, let's do it. And then, there was stuff that he didn't like before we even went in the relationship that I guess he thought he could get over. But, you
like
can't.
What?
Just like who I've dated in the past. And he thought he could get over that, but he couldn't, I guess. And so he kind of like, it just like rang in our relationship. And I mean, I'm no saint either. Like I did some bad things, but in the end, it's good that we ended. Mm-hmm. But it was a good relationship and it had really good highs, but we had really bad lows. So
I see.
Yeah.
And so when you started the relationship, this is what I'm always curious about.
Yeah.
Because back when I was a fuckboy, I was a very honest fuckboy. I would tell girls, I don't want a relationship.
Okay.
I don't want to be exclusive.
That's nice. At least you let them know. And then if they try, to get more out of you, at least you put them on notice,
But they didn't believe me.
I mean,
they
girls
would think they're going to
change
change me or
exactly.
something's going to happen. I'm like, no, I told you this from the beginning.
Okay.
So like when you date a fuckboy, right?
Yeah.
Is it like you kind of know off the bat in the back of your mind, like, yeah, this guy's a fuckboy, but he's fun and edgy and dangerous and I like that? Or you like, no, this guy's so absolutely amazing, and then you find out that it was all a facade?
I think you can change people, not just boys, but like anyone, and you can change some things about people, but overall, people are who they are and how they grew up, defines who they are. And it's something that is with them. And it won't be different even if you try. But girls like to think that they can, change someone for the better. And like, I thought my relationship in college, we were just very different. Like, he didn't want to worry about school or money or like family. And I was like, I can change him. Like, I can, do homework with him, or if I call my family, maybe he'll call his. And it didn't work. Like, I thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
I really did. But, you just can't change people. I think he's good now, but I think that's because he wanted to. And I don't think he wanted to. And so the only time people can change is when they want to, not when you want them to. And that was something I had to realize.
It's bizarre to me. And obviously I have a lot of experience in the dating game. I'm 32.
Okay.
But have you ever heard of this company called HelloFresh?
I love HelloFresh. My mom and I used to.
I'm not surprised you like HelloFresh.
Why?
I hate HelloFresh.
Why? Their food is good.
So I wanted a meal plan because I don't cook.
Okay.
I don't know how to do all that shit. And I was like, let me just have something. They send it to my house. Great. I don't have to do any work.
Okay.
So I got the 20 package because it's like you buy the bundle, it's cheaper, whatever. Mm-hmm. And the first package comes and I open it up and it's just the ingredients.
Yeah, you have to make the food.
And I'm like, I'm paying for meal prep and they send me the ingredients. And it was so bizarre to me. I'm like, I want you to make the meal for me. And so when girls say
deceived.
when girls say they want to change a guy, I'm like, there are guys who are already done. Medium rare steak, potatoes, mm-hmm. You know what you're getting. Why are you trying to date the ingredients and just hope that they turn out well?
That's a great analogy. Oh my gosh, I never thought of it that way. No,
yeah,
smart,
that's yes.
Yeah, I mean,
even
props
my mom
to you.
said, so it's true.
That's good.
Yeah.
Props to your mom. No, that's really good. Sometimes, like I said, women think maybe they're like, okay, I can get the ingredients, but maybe one time the package will come, ready, even though not likely. You can, like, it's possible, but people always say that men get married when they're ready to settle down. It's not really the woman. It's like their timing.
I would agree with that.
Right? And so sometimes, I don't know if I agree with that, but I'm 24 and I haven't met the one. So like, we'll see. I'll see. But I think they think like their friends probably met the one when he was ready to settle down. But the girl is like, oh, I changed him. And maybe he changed because he was ready to settle down. And he was like, I like this woman, or I love her. I'm ready to settle down. I'm going to change. And so she then, like maybe the person with the one puts into her friends' minds, it can happen. Like maybe you can change him. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that happens all the time. And like, my friends will tell me, don't be delusional. You can't change him. But like that could happen. So I think that's possibly a reason why women think that we can change men. And it's kind of fun, like to have a project, not going to lie,
I think it's more of that. I think there's something that girls are attracted to. Because before I was a fuckboy, I was like a big simp, nice guy. I grew up very religious parents. So I was taught to be very polite.
Okay.
And I just got friend zoned. And I don't like you. I like your friend, actually. Can you introduce me? And eventually I just got so sick of it. And, every girl says, I like nice guys, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, fuck this. Became a fuckboy. And then magically, so many more girls have a connection with me now. And I think there's something in the psychology that girls want a guy they don't know what they're getting. It's mysterious. It's exciting. It's a roller coaster.
I would say that it's a mix of both, because you want a nice guy, but you don't want the guy that is, doing everything that you ask. Like, I need this, this, and this. And he's like, oh, here's everything. I did this for you. Like, no, because I don't know, like, for me, I think of myself very independent, mm-hmm. and I don't want someone who is willing to do absolutely everything for me, because like I can do it myself. Like in my last relationship, I always stressed like I'm not a delicate flower, and not that he like totally treated me like when like we were equals, but I just like that's kind of how I think. Like I don't want to be treated so like, oh, she can't do anything, and maybe that's kind of what the nice guy, kind of portrays, like, oh, she needs help, even if that's not what he means. But also like, we don't want someone who's like really rude. Now, don't get me wrong. And like, especially in college, that's really all you get. And like, that's all I got. So that was fun in the moment. But I think the women don't like nice guys is a little overplayed. I think it's maybe too simplified. There's no, like, it's not black or white. It's a sliding scale. Like you can be nice and have a little bit of like banter or attitude, or, you know, kind of put her in her place sometimes. Cause like me, I have an attitude. And so if you're really nice to me, like, unfortunately I might, you know, use that to my advantage. And so you need someone to kind of like put you in your place and not let you walk all over them, because then it creates, you know, equality in the relationship. In friendships too, though, not just like romantic relationships.
You're on the right path. You're wrong, but you're on the right path.
Oh, how am I wrong?
Because it's not that you like or dislike niceness. It's what you don't like is guys who are scared. And most nice guys, it's a fear of saying something that they think might upset you, or it's a fear of setting appropriate boundaries because they think, oh, maybe she won't like me if I kind of set this boundary here, or it's a fear of shooting their shot and then they just sit in the friend zone and just wait for their opportunity, that maybe one day you get drunk enough and like a Taylor Swift song, you finally realize they're the one of your life, and they're just waiting for that moment. But it's the lack of confidence that is unattractive more so than the niceness.
Well, I think shooting your shot and like being in the friend zone is okay, but then it's kind of like, well, that's not the one for you. Like, move on. But some guys, I guess you would say, like, hang out in the friend zone and just wait because I don't know if it's just a one-time thing that they want or that's the love of their life or something, but that's where the issue lies. It's like, okay, if she clearly doesn't want something with you, maybe she will later, but like not in this moment. Like I was talking about before, when it's like, guys, time to settle down, then they're ready. Like maybe it's not her time to be with you. Maybe she wants to get to know you on a friend level, and then later she'll realize, oh, I actually, you know, have more than just friend feelings for you. Mm-hmm. So it's about choosing your opportunity. Like, okay, shoot your shot. If it doesn't work out and she's cool, be friends with her. But then that brings me to another point. Can guys and girls be like friends? Can you just have that? I personally think they can, but I know a lot of people, especially in LA, don't agree with that.
I 100% think they can.
Thank you.
Most of my views on relationships fall on the side of the people that would disagree with that statement. This is one thing I very much disagree with this whole space over here about in terms of relationships. Because imagine any kind of investment, right? It's like if you pay for, you're trying to start a restaurant, you invest in a big fucking storefront and all these things, right? And it doesn't work out. Are you just going to be like, okay, I'm just going to walk away and not get something out of this investment? Of course not. So if you spend all this time with a girl, maybe you spend like you hang out with her 2-3 times, spend like 8-10 hours with her. Okay, you built some kind of a relationship up, right? And if she says, oh, I'm not really into you, okay, well, you still have this relationship you built. And the reality is, now you guys can be friends, right? Maybe she introduces you to her best friend and you guys hit it off, right? Maybe you need to get into a club one night and you need more girls and you're like, hey, what's up? Like, you want to come through? And now you have someone. Maybe you're at the club and your friend is talking to you and the girls around are thinking, oh, are they together? Are they not together? And it builds some kind of intrigue, right? So it's like, there's still, maybe you do business together, right? There's still so many ways that you can help each other out that it makes no sense to me when guys are like, yeah, I fuck you, and just to get their ego, because their ego is so hurt that they don't know what to do.
Well, I don't know. I think some guys don't really believe in friendships with girls, because they're like, what can this girl bring me that my guy friends can't? Which, I mean, I think you brought up some great points. The club, for one. I think meeting other girls, another. Maybe just having like a different perspective.
No.
I
was with you up till the perspective point. Girls have the worst relationship advice I ever hear in my life.
Okay, but what about like last night?
Okay.
I was at Bar Liss and I was with a few of my guy friends, and I was like, if you need a wing woman, like I got you. I love talking to new girls and making new friends. I actually went to the club, and with the guys I was with were with girls that I never met, and now we're friends and we're gonna hang out soon. So like, girls are good at making friends with other girls, so why not like use that as, you know, different perspective or connection?
I'm gonna tell you my wing woman story.
Oh, okay.
This is why I do not trust girls, even though I used it to my advantage because I'm very smart.
Okay.
So we're going to a party in Malibu. I'm driving my friend's girlfriend because like he was coming separately, whatever. And I'm telling her all my stories about my Villanera. She's like cracking up. I have like all these funny stories. She's like, Zach, tonight I'm going to be your wing woman. Like, I'm going to get you laid, like all this stuff. And I'm like, no, please do not meddle in my fuckboy affairs. Like, you're going to fuck everything up, right? So we get to the party. I'm talking to this girl. I'm like leaned up against the thing, looking cool, right?
Obviously.
And then my wing woman comes up, dragging along this other girl who's first of all not even attractive. And she comes up and she goes, "Hey, this is the guy I was telling you about. He's the most nicest, sweetest guy. You have to get to know him." And I just watch both of the girls' faces, any attraction they had for me just shrivel up like a raisin. And the ugly girl was like, "Oh, that's so sweet." And I'm like, you just made me get friend zoned by a girl that I wasn't even talking to. Because the reality is, when you come in with that approach, and that's what most girls do, it makes the guy look like he's a loser who can't get girls and he needs this girl to help him, right? But then what I did, because I take the universe, whatever it gives me, and I spin it to my advantage.
Yes, obviously.
So I'm sitting down with this girl at the couch, a different girl, completely different girl, 3 hours later.
Okay.
And this guy sits next to us. Young, hot guy, TikTok hair, everything, right?
Okay.
And so we're talking. I can kind of tell, okay, you're obviously trying to like snake this girl from me. You're being polite to me, but you know what's going on.
That's very snaky. Okay.
And I'm like, okay, fair game. You know, like it is what it is. All's fair in love and war. So then he gets up. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to grab a drink." He asks the girl, "Can I get you something?" Doesn't ask me, you know, "Do you want anything, Zach?" Right? I'm like, okay, fair game. So he walks away. And then I look at the girl. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's Mike." And I'm like, "He's the nicest, sweetest, most caring guy. You have to get to know this guy." And I just watch her attraction just shrivel up like a raisin. It's like reverse psychology.
Yeah, I mean, good job for you. Like you really
I'm Jordan
spent
in the finals. You can't stop me. You can't stop me.
Well, I'm sorry about that wing woman experience, but I have to say she didn't do it right. Like if you're already talking to a girl, why would she bring another girl? Like you already got it. If that failed, maybe then she could help. But like bringing someone when you're already busy, that's like counterintuitive. I wouldn't do that, you know?
The best strategy for a wing woman, and you're not going to like this. You're going to hate me for this.
Okay.
If I could like train like a wing woman to be like a professional wing woman. If I'm talking to a girl, come up to me, be like, "Oh my God, Zach, where were you? I was looking for you." Touch me, like touch my chest, touch my arm, something like that. Then look at the girl, kind of look her up and down like this, and then just ignore the girl.
So like flirt with you to make her jealous.
Yes, that will 100% work better than any other tactic. I've seen it.
Yeah, it would.
Play
I
out
could see it
so many times. I worked in nightlife for a while. I was like kind of like a promoter-ish.
Yeah, okay.
And there's so many times where I'd meet a girl at the beginning of the night, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm chatting with her literally just to try to be friends because I need her to come to the club the next night. It's literally like a business thing, right?
Okay, yeah.
And she's doing the typical hot girl shit. Oh, kind of ignoring me, going on her phone. And then 30 minutes later, I'm talking to some other girl and she's flirting with me, giving me vibes. And then all of a sudden, the first girl comes up and she's all interested now. And I'm like, 30 minutes ago, you wanted nothing to do with me. And now you see me with another girl. And it's just human nature. You know,
well, it's the thrill of the chase.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if guys really feel that, but women, it's weird, but we do. And I don't really know why, but it's kind of like, oh, like you want them? Like what's so good about them? Like maybe I should go like see like, I don't know, a good restaurant. Like, oh, why is it good? Let me go check it out, you know? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that, or a good movie. So I feel like that's why women like the thrill of the chase, because we have to kind of see what's so good about this person. Unfortunately, we can't just like, we have such a hard time, you know, trying to see from the start, or some people do, like that girl on her phone. But I mean, I guess it works out in the end. You just have to have that good wing woman to help you out. That's where the wing woman comes in. I don't think I would, if I was your wing woman or anyone's wing woman, bring a girl to you. Mm-hmm. If anything, like we'd all be in a circle and maybe I'd see a girl next to me and like compliment her outfit, you know, like slowly get her in the circle. But bringing someone to you, especially if you're already talking to someone, that is a very interesting approach and unique.
I will say it is very useful to have one like hype girl that when like a new girl kind of comes into your group, she makes the girls feel welcome. Hey, do you want a drink? Hey, blah, blah, blah. And makes them feel comfortable. And then they kind of open up and get used to the group. That is extremely valuable.
Yes, I love being the hype woman. But I have to say, I don't think that guys are the same way, because I feel like they're more territorial, maybe even of friends, or maybe, I don't know. I've just had different experiences where it's harder to bring like another guy that you're talking to, that you just met like at the club, into the circle, because even your guy friends might not like, you know, want to get to know them as much as like I would want to get to know a girl that one of my guy friends brought in. But I don't really understand that. Is that where like the girls and guys can't be friends kind of come in, or like, what's going on there?
I mean, that can complicate things. The reason is, the reality of the situation is, you could go out tonight by yourself, not talk to a single person, and you would have probably like 3, 4, or 5 guys come up to you at some point of the night, try to hit on you. So you have a choice of like whoever. Okay. The reality for guys is, even if you're like 6'5" and good looking with tattoos, you maybe would get one girl who's not even that attractive to come up and like start chatting you up. So as a guy, like, we have to put in a lot of work, and because of that, that's the reason LA is the way it is, and you have to set yourself up in situations where there's more girls than guys. And every new guy you're adding to that situation, it's just the numbers just don't work out as well for you, because the reality is, one guy would sleep with like 4 different girls if he given the opportunity. But one girl's not going to sleep with 4 different dudes. She's going to be very picky on who she sleeps with. So it's just kind of like a supply and demand thing.
Yeah, but what if you go with your friends? Like I went with my friends last night, and this didn't happen, but like say it did. Like say I did bring someone over to like hang out with us or dance with us, and they weren't very nice. Like, I'm their friend. I don't want them. I've made it very clear, like, why would they then possibly still be, adverse to me bringing someone else in the group? Or just not even, like, after, hey, not really talk to them. So not really, like, mean to them, just not really address them, versus if they did that, I feel like I would want to be like, hey, hype girl energy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of, because, like, let's say you bring a guy into the group and you friend zone him, right? Okay. Then the guy's going to go off to the next girl. And if she friend zones him, he's going to go off to the next girl. And he's just going to one by one make his way down the line of girls until maybe one likes him, right? Okay. And that's one thing that, okay, it's interesting. So when I was doing like the club thing, if a girl is like, hey, can I bring my guy friend? I'm like, well, if he wants to buy a bottle, because it's literally just the rules. Like, I don't even make the rules. I can't, it is what it is. But even when we have parties like at the house, right? If a girl wants to bring her guy friend, I'm like, okay, but like anything he does, you're responsible for. That's what I always tell girls. Because the reality is, a lot of guys, when they come in to a new place, they have no skin in the game. Okay. So they'll go around, oh, let me hit on every single girl. Let me creep some girls out. Who cares? I'm just going to like be aggressive. Okay. And then it makes me look bad because it's my party and everybody's here, right? So then when I tell girls that, sometimes they're like, oh, I don't want to bring this guy anymore. Because you then wouldn't invite them to things? The girl, you're saying? Yeah. No, I'm saying I don't, like, if a girl wants to bring a guy, it's not, oh, I don't want a guy here because, like, oh, he's going to, like, try to talk to my girl or something like that. It's more so he could ruin the entire vibe. Yeah. By being creepy and hitting on a lot of people. I get that. Do you let them, like, vouch for him? Yeah, I'm like, bring your guy friend, but he better be cool. And then usually the girls will tell the guy, like, hey, just, because now it's like their reputation is on it. Versus if a girl's just like, yeah, come on in. Oh, sure, this guy, I met him at the club last night. He's totally cool. I'm like, is he cool? Yeah. And I'm very, like, picky with how I keep my circle nowadays, just because in LA there's so many, like, fake people and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I have enough friends. I don't need more friends. If you're going to come into my friend group, I need somebody that's, like, going to be, like, cool or providing something or in some way. Not someone to creep out your guests. Exactly. That would not be good. Yeah. I did have a question, though. So when I was at the club last night, we waited in line for an hour and a half, which is ridiculous. But we had 3 girls and 3 guys. And as soon as the guys walked away, because we were at Bar List, they went to go check out the Warwick line. We had 3 different, like, promoters, security people come up to us, just the girls in line. And they're like, do you want to come in? We were like, no, we have 3 guys. But when we got there, there was, like, barely any guys in the club, and they were mostly girls. And I don't really understand why they do that. I get there needs to be a good ratio, but overall, like, as girls, like, I don't want to buy my own drink, And if all the guys are taken, like, then, some of us aren't going to drink. And I want to know, like, what is the policy on it? Like, why is it super strict? Like, it was kind of like a 5-to-1 type of ratio, or maybe not last night, but at a different club, a different night. I've seen clubs where it's like 5-to-1 ratio, which is a lot, right? So the business model of clubs 10 years ago
Okay.
was just like any normal bar. Let everybody in, everybody buys drinks, you make money at the bar, right?
Yes.
Then because of this one club in New York that started this trend, they figured out, hey, instead of selling like these like $15 drinks at the bar, all we need is one rich dude to spend $20,000 on a table, and we make more money than the entire night at the bar just from that one person.
Yeah.
Right? So clubs became in this competition to say, hey, if we can find these whales that are willing to spend 20 grand, then like we're the best club, we're going to make hand over fist money. And these big whales want to go to the places that have the most attractive girls and the best ratio. So the club's concern isn't making money at the bar and letting people in. It's how do we get these like 5 people to buy tables at the club? How do you do that? You need a lot of pretty girls.
Okay, so it's the way to find a needle in a haystack.
But you can drink for free anyway. Just go with a promoter. If you go with a promoter, you can drink for free
I know,
anyway.
but it was our last minute thing. Like I went to this DJ thing at Catch One, which I just found out was the first club in LA.
I didn't know that. Actually.
Coolest place. There's like 5 or 7 stages for DJs, and I don't really like that type of music. I like R&B or rap more, or like old 2000s, but it was fun. It was cool overall. So we went there, and then we met people at Bar List, and we waited in line, and then we went there, and it was super fun. The DJ, I didn't know who it was, but he was amazing. It was so cool, and he had a mix of like Spanish music and old music and house music, and I liked that, like having a diverse playlist. That is where I think you draw the most people, because house is like very specific, like rave vibe, and it's not really my vibe. I'll go, but it's hard to dance to, like throwing your fist in the air. It's not really how I like to dance. I'm more like, shimmy. So it was good overall.
You want to know another interesting thing about the clubs?
I would love to.
So the house nights that they have, that's most models, super hot girls like house.
Well, I'm not a model, so it makes sense.
So they have those nights, and they actually don't make much money off those nights.
Okay.
And then what they do is they position their club as like the big club or like the best club to be at. And then they have another night during the week that they play more of like the hip hop music and stuff like that. And that's their moneymaker night.
That's my night. Okay.
Because that's the night that the big spenders come, because the people that listen to hip hop music are typically the people that want to show off, buy the best table, look how cool I am. Yeah. Whereas like the EDM people are just more like good energy, good vibes. I'm not trying to spend all that money. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's kind of like how the marketplace works for that. But that's why they do like one night that's like a certain music and another night that's different. But I do like Barley's. I like Melrose Place a lot too, for more of the like there's tables, but you don't need a table. You can also kind of roam around and it's fun.
Is there a dance floor?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of.
I like a dance floor. When I first moved here a year and a half ago, I loved 1212. And I still do love 1212. I just haven't been in a while. But there's a big dance floor. And I think there are tables, but people don't usually buy them. But the dance floor is super cool. And so if it is a dance floor, I'm way more likely to go.
Gotcha.
It's super fun. But when I moved to LA, one thing I thought was really interesting, especially like meeting promoters, people go out every night of the week. And I realize it's some people's jobs, but even people that like have 9 to 5s, like they still go out, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And don't get me wrong, I love it. I was just kind of surprised. But I mean, I think it's a fun culture, and I like to go out when I can. So it's interesting, but like I like it, and everyone's vibe is different, and every night is different. Like I heard some places have like Latin night, or hip hop, or house, like you were talking about. And so I think that's really cool to do like different nights too, so you can have something to look forward to every night of the week.
Yeah, it's a fun. Actually, I like weeknights better.
Really?
Because it's all people in the industry. It's the more musicians, models, actors. Like that's when usually that crowd goes out. Okay. And then the 9 to 5 people with office jobs, usually weekends because they're working.
Okay, what's the best night and where on a weekday?
It really depends. It goes in and out all the time. To be honest, I'm more of house parties nowadays than
okay.
Clubs.
I actually haven't been to a house party since I moved to LA.
Seriously?
Yeah, because
I'll tell you next time we have.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Because every time, like I want to do something, everyone wants to go to the club, and people that I hang out with either live like at home or in an apartment. But I was like, you know what, when I have an actual, like when I'm actually an attorney, then maybe there'll be more house parties because we'll have houses. But for now, I just go to clubs. But it's still so much fun. And I like when I first moved, I went to the Victorian a lot, and they have 3 DJs. And each DJ, like basement, main floor, and upper floor, has different music. And so I think that's really cool and a good move, because then you don't have to wait like on Fridays there's this. It's like, you know, you can just go to a different floor. It gets really packed and it's hard to get there. But once you get there, you can, you know, choose the music that you want. So I liked that like business mindset.
Interesting. What's your let's switch topics. What's your type?
Oh God.
Let's go physical first. Looks first.
Do you know who Nick Bosa is? He's on the defensive line for the Niners. So him, probably.
So tall, athletic.
Yeah, tall, athletic, big.
Gotcha. How tall does a guy have to be?
He doesn't have to be like, just because it's my type doesn't mean like I wouldn't go for someone. Like I'm more into personality now. Like my ex-boyfriend's 6'8", or one of my exes. So it really doesn't matter to me.
The first fashion model I dated, she was like 5'11", right? So 3 inches shorter than me, but with heels, it's like pretty close.
That's like right there. I mean,
like right
3
there.
inches is, I feel like, the normal size heel, you know?
much.
Yeah.
And before me, she was like, Zach, I always used to date, you know, basketball players, NBA players, stuff like that. And she's like, I got fucked over so many times. She was like, the next guy I dated was this 5'8" guy, like this short king. And she's like, Zach, I was so like, I don't care about height anymore, none of that. And she's like, then on the third date, apparently he comes over.
Okay.
She had like 3 glasses of wine or something.
Okay.
And so she opens the door, she gives him a hug, she picks him up, and she's like, and then I spun him around and watched his little legs flail out. And she was like, in that moment, I lost all respect for him as a human being, and I couldn't do it anymore.
Wow.
And I was like, I get it.
That's interesting.
I would feel weird kissing up, you know.
Well, I like kissing up.
Well, of course you do.
Yes. Yeah. But wow. No, yeah, height doesn't really matter to me. I mean, obviously, like at first glance, everyone, you know, you only have the physical to see. But I think this might be cliche, but like if it's a really good personality and we have like a lot in common, like with my ex, we had a lot in common, and we had really similar, humor. And so that worked really well. And so it doesn't really matter to me, like after like first glance, like as long as, you know, have a good personality, I think it works. But everything, you know, everyone has their preferences. So I get it, especially being 5'11". That I don't have that issue. Most people aren't shorter than me. I'm 5'4". Yeah. But I think, it definitely probably would be different if I was super tall. I do have a few tall friends that do date people shorter than them, and they have no issues with it. Usually they say the shorter people, like people shorter than them, are nicer.
Oh yeah, they kind of have to be.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Sometimes they have like short man syndrome, and they're almost like overcompensating too.
I don't know. I've never had that issue so far, and I hope to not. But I could see it, like maybe because they're short, and so they feel like they have to make themselves known as a man in a different way, which then is a totally separate issue in like mental health stuff. But I get it. Like I get everyone has their preference, but no, for me, I don't really mind. If I had everything my way, I would be dating Nick Bosa. That's not how it is right now.
Not yet.
No, he has a girlfriend too. Go her,
not
whoever
for long.
She is.
Not till Jensen slides into the DMs.
Oh,
Watch out.
No.
What's your type personality then? Because you said you go more so for personality.
Well, I am really funny. So I need someone.
You're above mid, I would say, on the funny spectrum.
Oh, well, thank you. I need someone who is funny, and I'm not shy at all. I'm very, very outgoing and an extreme extrovert. And so I don't need someone to be as extroverted as I am, but I definitely need someone who is not introverted. Like I like doing things, meeting new people, going out, you know, having conversations with random people. Like I like doing that. I also, personality-wise, I really like sports. Like if I had it my way, my dream job is to work for the NFL or the Rams. So I would love someone who likes sports as much as I do, or more, because I know a good amount, but I would love someone more. That's really important to me. someone who listens, because I talk a lot, and it's the typical guy like only answering one question if you ask them like four. I like someone who can answer like all the questions, because then it makes me feel like special. And so someone who just listens, and like not only listens, and it's not passive listening, it's active listening, so they're paying attention to what I'm saying. Yeah, someone who's funny and likes movies and likes to dance. I love to dance, and I love to go to karaoke. So you don't have to go to karaoke and like sing, but you just got to go and like, be there with me. That's a weird like thing that I add to a personality that I like in someone.
I see. What about, do you typically go for guys who are very like masculine, or do you go for more of the pretty boy type of guys?
Oh, I would say masculine. So in my type, Nick Bosa is like very, very fit.
Yeah.
Like super,
no, I'm
super
not saying
strong.
looks. I'm saying like someone who's more dominant personality or more kind of.
I would say more dominant, but not like overly dominant, because I don't, like I said before, like I do have a bit of an attitude, and so I don't really like being told what to do. So if someone's like too dominant, I'm gonna be like, no.
But you also kind of said you kind of respect somebody who puts in your place when you need to.
In certain moments, yeah, because I know I can like overthink stuff and overanalyze, or like bring up dumb arguments. So obviously I'd want someone to, point that out or be like, you're being irrational. But I definitely don't want or need someone who is like always trying to put me in my place or tell me what to think in that type of sense. So I would say more dominant, just so I don't like walk all over them. But I definitely don't want someone who's only dominant,
I see.
I like that good balance.
You're a little hard to read in terms of, do you typically fit more into the traditional gender roles in your relationships, or do you take more of the dominant masculine role?
Well, I would say neither. So I obviously think I think a guy should pay on the first date, but I don't really. Okay, so who doesn't like material things, right? Obviously, I'm not going to be like, I don't like gifts. Obviously, I like gifts, but I really like, when I like growing up, I learned quickly. I had to learn like hard work and what it takes and the value of a dollar, right? And for me, it's really important that like the people that I hang out with or that I'm in a relationship with understand that. And so if you're just like throwing gifts at me and paying for everything, it kind of like irks me, because I don't think you understand like what it takes to get where you are, unless you have like all that money. But right now I feel like I'm so young that most people just have it from their parents, and that's great. I am not hating on anyone who was born into a wealthy family. It's more how you learn to understand like how your parents or grandparents got that wealth, because I didn't really. I grew up like in middle class. And then when I was 18, I became fully financially independent. And in college, I worked 2 jobs the whole time, and I put myself through college, and I'm putting myself through law school. So it's really important to me that who I'm with understands like kind of what I go through, and that it's not easy to just, pay for a $200 dinner just cause, or, go on a really expensive vacation just because you want to. If you don't really understand like where that money came from. If you work really hard, yeah, spend your money however you want. And obviously you don't have to listen to me. Like people can spend their money however they want. I just really like to make sure that people that I hang out with and who I'm with understand the value of a dollar in that sense. And to go on to buying things for me, I cannot stand if someone like buys something for me and then expects me to do something because they bought something for me. Like you do that because you're nice. You're not doing that because you think I'm going to do something for you. Like I'll do something for you because I want to do something for you. I'm not going to do something for you because I feel obligated to. And so that's also something that's really important to me, which ties back to money. And so I don't know if that's it's not typical gender roles, I think. But I think it's more typical gender roles than the masculine side. Like, I don't really want to pay for every dinner. I will, and I'm more than happy to pay. And so, like, I have a job. I can handle stuff on my own. But I think overall, I like more equality than totally being taken care of.
So I agree and disagree with you.
Okay.
I agree with you on the point that if a guy buys you something, you have no obligation to do anything for him.
Okay.
Because it's like, yeah, like, if you're going to like put yourself out there, cool. but like this is not a contract. Like you can't be like, okay, now you owe me this.
No, exactly.
But at the same time, something that does bother me is I know a lot of girls who will accept a gift from a guy completely knowing his intention and knowing what's going on and playing into it because they want the free thing, right? Like one of my friends, like, oh, this guy's flying me out to blah blah blah, like I don't even find him attractive, but like I want this free trip. And it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, technically you're in the right. Like I always say, all's fair in love and war. You know, like if he gets fucked over, it's his own fault. But also it's kind of a dick move to like take that free vacation knowing full well from the start he wants more and you don't want anymore.
Well, I'm not saying I agree with that at all. I don't like that mentality and like the materiality of it. Like I don't really fit with super materialistic people because I don't agree with that, and that's not what I would like want to do or want to happen to have done to someone. But I do think that in a relationship it should be equals. Now that doesn't sound like a relationship. That's just a girl, you know, getting her bag, doing her thing. But in a relationship, that's different, you know? So if this guy wants to spend random money on this girl who he doesn't even know if likes him, I do kind of think that's on him. I don't think that it's right of the girl.
I think at the end of the day, it's his, like, yo, you fucked up. That's what happens. But it's still kind of a dick move on
No, I don't think it's good on the girl at all. I think that's rude and, you know, leading people on. Like, you shouldn't want to lead people on. Maybe if you're like, it's your second date and you're like, I don't know how I feel about this person, but like I want to give it a chance. Okay, that's fine. But like if someone's flying you out, like that's way different. And you know the intentions, like, you know, that's not really a mature mindset.
I agree.
I don't really like that type of mindset. You know?
Yeah, it's interesting. I grew up with a very old school father.
Okay.
And so he's very much chivalry. You know, if you're going on a date, like I'm paying for the date.
Okay. And opening the door and everything?
Yeah, opening the door.
Okay,
if I'm walking on the sidewalk, you know, I'm walking on the car side. So if the car comes, I can stop the car and
obviously
my girl,
with your manly strength.
Unless it's a G-Wagon, then it's like, you know, use the girl, human shield, protect myself.
Obviously.
Then administer CPR. You know, not all heroes.
And save her though. Then you're the hero still.
Then I'm still the hero. As long as I end up the hero, like I'm good.
Good. I like that plan. Okay.
But it was interesting because I like to travel a lot, right? So if I'm like in a relationship and I'm going to Europe or Australia or Asia or something, I'm paying for the trip. Okay. I'm not telling my girl, splitsies, here's the Venmo request for the Airbnb. It just it feels like weird to me.
I get that.
But I'm talking to one of my friends and she's like a very powerful like sugar baby. Like she has like 10 sugar daddies. She has like, it's like an entire business basically. Wow. And she's like, Zach, she's like, all guys are sugar daddies. There's just, you know, some guys buy drinks, some guys pay for dinner, sometimes it's trips, bags, rent. She's just like, wow. There's just high class and low class sugar daddies, but you're a sugar daddy just like the rest of them. And I was like, that's an interesting perspective to have.
I've literally never thought about that. I can see her point, but I don't think I would say it's a sugar daddy move. I would say it's kind of how life works. Like to be, I'm really non-traditional, but I think that is a little bit of the tradition that I like, at least in the beginning. Like I said, I'm all for equality, but in the beginning, like buying a drink, I wouldn't be like, that's a sugar daddy move. I think that that's chivalrous and nice and respectful. But I think once you take it to, they're paying for your rent, but you're not dating them officially and you're not living with them and you don't really like them, that's like different than like buying you a meal or maybe occasionally a bag. I don't know if you're wealthy enough, you know, $3,000 for a bag is nothing to you. So it also depends, I guess, on the status of the guy. Like if he doesn't have any money and he's buying you all this stuff, that's a weird sugar daddy relationship. And also that's a really bad move on the girl. But if the guy is like your friend, he wants to fly her out, it's probably nothing to him. Okay, then let him. Like I don't see the issue, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting. So I very much so enjoy the traditional relationships. I have a very dominant personality, and so I don't mind taking the masculine role, but then I like girls who are very feminine. That's just like what I'm attracted to. Very sweet, caring, supportive, that kind of thing. What bothers me is Beyonce and Andrew Tate are ruining all relationships in Western society as we know it.
So opposite.
Really?
Those two?
Yes.
Why would you say Beyonce?
Because
maybe I'm not in the know.
Okay, here's the problem. Girls grow up nowadays, right? And Beyonce tells you, be independent, strong, independent woman, make your own bag, TikTok videos, female empowerment, every movie you watch, same thing, right?
Okay, yeah.
So girls grow up with this, I want to be a boss bitch attitude.
Yeah.
Which I think is great. If that's the route you want to go down, more power to you. But the problem is, most girls take that and they want the boss bitch attitude, but they don't want the boss bitch responsibility that goes along with that.
Okay.
So they don't want to get a job, go to law school. They don't want to be the one when it's 3 a.m. and there's a problem, somebody's got to fix it.
Yeah, okay.
So then they want to have this like masculine attitude, I run shit, blah, 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 but then they don't want the responsibility. And then on the flip side, guys watch 3 Andrew Tate videos and they're like, I am the alpha. And I'm just like, what are you the alpha of? Your fucking video game clan? Like, you're not the alpha. Like, you can't just proclaim yourself the boss and just be the boss.
Okay.
And so now we have relationships in this Gen Z culture where nobody's doing shit. Everybody's pretending like they're the boss and they want to run shit. But nobody's doing anything. And nobody fixes the problems. And like somebody has to fit this role.
I get what you're saying. Maybe it's an LA thing and I haven't seen that. I mean, I am in law school and most of my friends are from law school. Mm-hmm. So those girls, get the bag and they're the type that Beyonce's talking about. So it must be like an LA thing, maybe an influence thing. I'm not quite sure.
To be fair, I'm also in the scene with actresses, models. It's like the Hollywood
people getting it.
Scene.
But I can see what you're talking about where I don't think that Beyonce's message is bad in any way. I think I am full women empowerment, feminism, love that. But I can see how, like, I'm sure I can remember some girls that I've met just randomly, like, at a club. Not that I know, but just the attitude of, like, I am, Miss Independent, my own person. But at the same time, they're only trying to get to, like, the table where the rich guy is. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, that's fun. And who doesn't like to do that, for a night at the club? But if that's their whole personality, it's kind of like, okay, what are you doing? Like, you want someone to, I guess, pay for everything, but you don't like them and you don't want a relationship. If you like them and you want a relationship, then do it. But if that's not your intention, I don't see the point. Like that's where I see what you're talking about with the whole Beyonce like movement, I guess we'll call it.
The other thing is people get stuck in the middle a lot.
Okay.
Whereas like, I think genetically and just biologically, women skew toward the more feminine roles naturally and men skew toward the more...
societally, for sure.
But I think society, it's actually the opposite now. And that's the problem. It's society. There's a lot of girls who would be very happy being like more in the supportive role.
Okay.
But they're being pushed. No, you got to be dominant and Beyonce and all this stuff. And then there's guys, it's the opposite. All guys are taught like, yeah, like be emotional and sensitive and like, oh, you got last place in the basketball game? Little boo-boo, Gen Z, are you okay? Let's talk about your feelings.
That's like a newer thing then, because when I grew up, well, I mean, I felt like kind of I was like a tomboy, but also like a diva. Like I played a bunch of sports, but I also like I'm a huge like pink girl and love like girly stuff. So I was both, but that's definitely newer to have like the younger generation pushed on like, be yourself and be your own person, which I love. But I get what you're saying. Like society has become a little, I guess you would say like soft. Mm-hmm. I think that everyone should be able to do what they want, and obviously, but it's a little hard. It's a little hard because I get what you're saying also with like the kid that comes in last. Like that's great, you participated, but coming in last like in everything, and if you fully just say it's okay to be last, rather than bring the positive like thank you for your effort, let's work on that, to make it better rather than just
No. I think it should be you suck. Work harder. Get your fucking shit together. Like that's when I was young.
That's
it was
a
like,
little hard. Okay.
You got last place. Everybody laughed at you. Everybody was like, ah ha ha. Like look, Zach's the loser, whatever. And then it makes you fucking want to work harder. And you're like, I don't want to be the loser. Okay, let me fucking work for it. But nobody gets taught that. And now they're like 21 years old. And like their girlfriend broke their heart. And they're just like laying in bed all day. And they can't get out of bed. And I'm like, there's people with no running water that are less emotionally like unstable than you are. Like it's crazy to me.
I think people need to be taught now. I don't really know about that whole thing, but I think they need to be taught or kind of pushed out away from their comfort zone. And I think society now is okay with people staying in their comfort zone for really as long as they want, which like, that's great. Be in your comfort zone if that's for you. But at least for me, like that's not, because how are you going to grow? Mm-hmm. And growth is obviously really important because almost everyone else is growing. So how are you going to get better or experience more from just staying in your little bubble? Mm-hmm. Like branch out. And maybe that's something that's not taught enough, is branching out. It's like, do what you want to do. And if that's be a boss woman, be a boss woman. But what if you are so trying to be a boss woman that what if you don't even like, do something that you want to do that you didn't know you would want to do? Like, I don't know, hair, or you want to be a cosmetologist, but you're so like, no, that's not a boss woman role. I'm not going to do that. Or what if you just want to be a stay-at-home mom? I know plenty of people that are stay-at-home moms and that are my age that don't have kids that are like, yeah, I would love to do that. Do that. Mm-hmm. But society is kind of like, oh, do what we say, be in your comfort zone, or go be a boss bitch, but you can't really like it's kind of anti-societal roles. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I think that that's like wrong. I know I'm going off on a tangent. I don't really understand society. Like, we want people to be their own person and be, boss bitches and whatever men want to do. But we also we're okay with them being in their comfort zone. And so I think it's like super opposite. Like, okay, what do you want? If you want to push them, then push them. And if you want them to be in their comfort zone, then you're giving two like different messages. And I think that's confusing.
Yeah, just like we need a little bit more bullying in schools, just like some like softcore bullying, like make fun of people. We don't have to like push kids into lockers like or anything like that, but like a little bit more.
Well, I'm not saying bullying, but I'm just saying maybe a little more push. My sister is a 6th grade teacher, and one thing I really like about her teaching style that I got from her, and how I like if I babysit, this is how I like to treat kids too, is she treats them like they're her equal, not her friend, but not kids. Like if they do something wrong, I know like when I was in school, it's kind of like, okay, like, and why was that wrong? My sister is very like direct and kind of mature about it. She's like, what you did was wrong. Like, don't tell me that you didn't know that you weren't supposed to do that. You knew that. And I like that approach because I think it's in a way making them grow and be out of their comfort zone. Like their parents are probably treating them like children. Like you got to treat them, you want them to be responsible. Even as 6th graders, put them in their place. Not obviously not mean, but like don't treat them like little babies, because then they're not really going to change. You kind of got to make them uncomfortable. So
I hear a lot of girls complain about, they say like there's no real men anymore, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I get it, because like all these guys are being taught to be like overly sensitive and not learn how to deal with their emotions and fucking man up and like fix the problem when it's like not that big of a deal. And I think it's because of all this participation trophy culture.
Really?
Yeah.
I see that. I think there are still a lot of guys who have the traditional ways, and me becoming an attorney, sometimes I worry, like, because that's a very high level job. Yeah, and so sometimes I'm like, maybe it's an irrational fear, but I'm like, what if like it's too much of a big job that a guy's like intimidated? Like, I love Sex and the City. And I remember when Miranda, did you watch Sex and the City?
No.
Oh, you should. But it's a great girl show. Everyone should watch it. But I remember Miranda is, she's an attorney, one of the 4 main characters. And she started dating this bartender, and they had a great relationship, and she loved him and he loved her. And she had to go to this big event, and he needed to wear a suit. And she was like, okay, you don't have a suit. I will buy it for you. Like, you need to wear this to my event. And he was so like, he let her buy it, but then he later returned it and broke up with her because he was like, I can't do this, because he felt so emasculated. And so I'm sometimes like, what if I unintentionally do that to someone? Like, I don't know. I haven't experienced that yet, thank goodness. But it's just like a fear, or maybe not just my job, but like any, woman that is doing that women empowerment and doing like the most that they can, like being at that top level. And it's kind of like, I'm not like, can a guy be with someone that's in that top level and not feel super emasculated? Or is that just really, really emasculating? But then it's also like, well, if that's super emasculating, isn't that less of a man because he can't be okay with his woman like being at that high level, like whether it's, something political or like a really high paying actress or something that just makes a lot, like a doctor, stuff like that. What do you think?
I think it just matters on what's your type. Like,
Okay.
I always thought, because I'm an entrepreneur,
Okay.
I want an entrepreneur girlfriend because then, we're both entrepreneurs. We talk about business. And I've dated a couple girls that are more like that personality type. And I very much respect what they do, but I'm not attracted to that personality. Okay. Like I'm attracted, like I think maybe it's because opposites attract or something. I'm attracted to the girl who's just sweet and caring and just feminine and just,
what is her job
like
in
hot to me.
In this fantasy? What is her like career?
But that's the thing. It doesn't matter what her job is.
Okay.
But girls who typically have high-paying careers are typically not this personality type. If I met someone who's sweet and caring and everything, and she's a CEO of a company, great.
Yeah.
But it's going to be hard to be a CEO of a company if that's your natural demeanor, because CEOs, you're required to be a little more like on the ball with shit, and like a little more dominant of a personality type.
I get what you're saying.
So it's not about the job. It's about the personality that typically comes along with the job.
Yeah, I get that. I see.
But some guys like the like hard charging women that, like tie them up or whatever and like whatever they're into.
Well, I know about that, but yeah, a few of my exes in college, we were very different. And so I was like, oh, like opposites attract, right? And then I realized not polar opposites. Like it has to be like some opposite. Like I don't really go with the flow. I am not a very like easygoing person. I hate to say I want to be, but I'm super particular about a lot of things, and I love organization and planning. And so being with someone I can't be with someone who's completely not planning at all, because that would just kill me. It would stress me out so much and I would get really irritated. But I definitely cannot be with someone who is like me, where they like to plan stuff, because it's like, no, that's my thing. Just be good at plans. But like you can be opposite in the sense where like you don't usually plan.
I find that most girls who are more dominant go one or two directions. Most girls I know either want to find a guy who's super masculine because then it makes them feel feminine. They like feeling more feminine in comparison.
I can see that, yeah.
Or they go the opposite direction. They date a like more like pretty boy guy who's kind of like, yes, babe. What are we doing tonight, babe? And they like being in control and they like that role, and then that works too.
Okay. Would you say I am more dominant then?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would like both. Can I choose that? Is that an option?
It's gonna be hard to find.
I know.
It's like a diamond in the rough.
Well, LA has so many people. Like
Antonio Brown, what was the guy's name?
I don't even know.
The football player. That's your crush.
Oh, Nick Bosa?
Nick Bosa. Maybe Nick Bosa.
Oh, he's definitely not like that. He seems very like very chill. His voice is very like calm and just kind of like, whatever.
But maybe it's like because his look is so dominant. He's tall, he's fit, like all these things. Maybe it's like, okay, you could get like the masculine energy from his looks, but then he still has like the more feminine energy from his personality.
Maybe, yeah, feminine. I could see that. But also, like, does feminine mean like shy and like not like outgoing? Because like I really like outgoing. Like I don't want to just talk to you the whole time and have you, like, even if you're a really good listener, I want you to talk to me too. And like, I want to know everything. I like to always talk about details. Like, I hate when I say like, how was your day? And someone says good. I don't want to hear good. I want to hear every detail, start to finish. What time did you wake up? What did you do when you first got up? Like, that's how I would do. And that's what I did in my last relationship. And he really liked it too. So like that worked.
I hate when girls.
Oh my God. No, I love it.
I hate that.
Then
like,
we would not, our personalities would not work.
A croissant for lunch. And then
no, well, like I said, I'm very detailed, particular
like
person. But you know, obviously you don't need to do that because like I said, I don't want someone exactly like me. That would be a nightmare. Yeah. But I'd want someone who is like interested at least in it. And like, oh yeah, like at least tell me one good thing. Like my day was good because I had a really successful meeting. That's great. Mm-hmm. Like you don't need to give every detail. I would love every detail, but you don't need to give it because guys are, you know, but some detail for me at least is better than none. Other people like yourself don't like that, and that's totally fine. You just need someone who's more, you know, like basic and maybe doesn't talk as much as
basic. You're like, not evolved like me. Need a basic.
Not to hype myself up.
All right, we're about out of time. I got a few rapid fire questions for you.
Questions. Okay.
Favorite food?
Oh, pad thai.
Ooh, pad thai food is good. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of good places in LA too.
I have not found one. Please give me suggestions.
All right, I'll tell you after.
Thank you.
Favorites, next travel destination you haven't been to that you want to go to?
There's a heart-shaped island in Fiji. I would absolutely love to go there. I'm very particular.
Instagrammable.
Yes, super.
For favorite first date spot or activity?
Oh, God. Golfing, bowling, playing pool, karaoke, any activity.
You like activities?
Yes. A dinner's great, but I love activities. I'm outdoorsy.
I see. Interesting. All right, well, this has been fun. We'll have to have round 2 sometime.
Please.
What's your Instagram for where can people find you?
My name, JENSEN_HEDLEY.
Awesome. Well, Jensen, this has been fun. Thanks for listening.